Thank you, Maxine. Welcome back to Bradford. Let's immediately take a few minutes to assess what people here in this city feel about the direction of the country since that vote to leave and what issues they feel the government should be addressing going forward. Well, let's talk about Bradford specifically now for a few minutes. Worth just reminding you of how the people of Bradford voted back in June. 54% of the electorate voting to leave the EU, 46% voting to stay. And to give you a sense of the population, 528,000 people is the population, but it is a young city. That is something that lots of business owners and politicians keep reminding us. Almost a quarter of the city's population is under the age of 16. So how could Bradford benefit going forward? What are people making of that vote to leave the EU? Let's talk to Sheraz Malik, who joins me here in Bradford. Very good to see you, the owner of a number of local businesses, and also, as your badge tells us, speaking on behalf of the Yorkshire Enterprise Network, which brings together businesses across the region. And you have, Sheraz, I think 6,500 members, so a lot of members. I guess hard to summarise what they all feel, but what are the stories that you've been hearing since the vote? How would you assess business owners' confidence?
I think generally the attitude's been to get on with things. Now there's obviously a number of areas where small businesses particularly may be significantly affected with the Brexit vote, primarily around the funding that was allocated through the European Union to SMEs. But I think what it's allowed businesses to do is open up new ways of thinking, and what we're starting to see is a lot more innovation. People are trying to make sure that they position themselves well enough to go forward with whatever Brexit brings.
I was hearing over the last few hours from a young woman involved in quite a young independent business here in Bradford, and she said her sense was that some of the smaller companies are actually doing quite well. Independent companies, they've almost seen it as a spark to crack on with their business ideas. Is that something that you're picking up on?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think one of the things that Bradford has seen is the resurgence of lots of small independent businesses, and that can only relate to the confidence that the city's seen. I think we've had a knock-on effect with some of the developments that the city's seen over the past 18 months, and it really has been, fairly quick growth. It's been quite substantial in some regards. I mean, North Parade, for example, was voted in the top 3 high streets in the UK. We've got a pub and bar venue on the other part of Bradford that got listed as the best pub and bar venue in Yorkshire. Apart from that, we've seen more small businesses move into office space. I mean, we're a business centre operator, and the one thing that we've seen alongside new businesses is also organisations occupying more space and growing within the space that already are.
I mean, that's really interesting, and it's quite counterintuitive. People watching might be quite surprised by that. I mean, are you at all surprised, as the person running the business, the service offices, that occupancy is really pretty healthy?
Not so much, to be honest. I mean, prior to a site that we've just opened the outskirts of Leeds City Centre, there's a 36,000 square foot premises where we've got around 50 to 60% occupancy already, and we've not completed the build yet. We opened a business centre in Bradford where we converted an old mill complex, a huge amount of square footage, and within 12 to 18 months we're close as you can get to 100% occupancy. And again, that's lots of different types of industries and organisations who are now in a position to place themselves in an environment like serviced office space.
Really, really interesting. Well, Sheraz Malik, good to hear about the confidence. Thank you very much for your time. Really nice to see you from the Yorkshire Enterprise Network. Thanks very much for being with us here on the BBC.